Mariah and welcome to Yoga with Mariah. So today we're going to do a small sequence to reduce stress. And we have a tendency to hold stress in our shoulders, in our neck, and we create a tension headache. So we're going to work on our shoulders today. So you'll need two blocks, a strap, and a blanket. And if you don't have either of those, use whatever you have at home and we'll get our practice started. All right, so we're going to start in child's pose today. So you'll need a block, and then just keep your other block and your strap off to the side so you have access to them. So we'll come into extended child's pose. So bring your big toes together, knees as wide as your torso. Send your hips towards your heels, and then extend your arms and chest forward. Place your forehead on the block so that it's elevated just a bit. Now, if you're unable to bring your hips towards your heels, you can always place a blanket underneath. Between your calf and your hamstring, your thigh. So once you get settled in here in your child's pose, relax the arms. We'll do 3 inhalations and exhalations, in through the nose and out through the mouth. So inhale here, exhale out all the air. Inhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Now connect with your body, connect with your breath, and connect with your mind. Now, if your mind wanders, bring yourself back to the present moment. Just breathe here. And as you inhale, feel the expansion of the breath. And as you exhale, feel your body release, let go, and surrender. Then walk your hands back up. Remove the block off to the side. And we'll come into tabletop position. So place your hands underneath your shoulders with your wrists shoulder distance apart. Bring your knees underneath your hips with your knees hips distance apart. Find a neutral spine here. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest and look up. Exhale, round your upper back like a cat. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the tailbone. Exhale, press into your hands and round your upper back. Inhale, drop the belly, pull your chest through your arms. Exhale, press in your hands, spread your shoulder blades apart. Do a few more rounds on your own, breath by breath. Find the ebb and flow. If you need to rock your hips side to side or draw circles, you can do that too. Let's just become more aware of our bodies, aware of where we are holding tension. We're just using our breath to come back to this moment. And then we'll find a neutral spine here. We'll do thread the needle, so if you need to tuck your toes for stability, you can do that too. If not, inhale your right arm up to the sky, and exhale, thread the needle, coming onto the back of the right shoulder blade. Press the left hand down into the mat as you twist a little deeper, pointing the left elbow up to the sky as you rest your right side of your head down. Inhale here. And exhale, lengthen and twist. Keep your hips nice and even here as one side tends to shift. And press your left hand down and come back to tabletop position. Lift your left arm up to the sky. Exhale, thread the needle coming onto the back of the left shoulder blade. Use your right hand to press the floor away from you, pointing the right elbow up to the ceiling. Inhale here, lengthen. Exhale, twist a little deeper and lengthen. You're resting on the left side of your head. Keep your hips nice and even. One more breath here. And then use your right hand and come to tabletop position. And we'll walk our fingertips forward about 2 inches, 3 inches forward. We're coming into downward facing dog, so you'll tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back into your first downward facing dog. Make sure that your hands are shoulder distance apart and your feet are hips distance apart. And then you'll walk your dog here, pedal up the feet, bend one knee and then the other, and just become aware of your body. Breath by breath as you root through the circumference of your hand. Lift the forearms off the mat and then to firm the outer arms into the midline. Gaze between the feet to lengthen the back of the neck. And then you'll find some stillness here in your downward facing dog. And then come onto your hands and knees. And we'll do a few shoulder stretches. So we'll go into a comfortable seated position and I'll just face you. So what you'll do is you'll take your legs out in front of you and you'll cross, and I'll mirror you so you can see. So you'll cross the right shin over the left shin, hug the knees in, and your right shin should almost be parallel to the front edge of your mat. So from here, you'll root through your sit bones and rebound to the crown of the head. You'll take your hands out in front of you, palms face down. You'll hook the thumbs and you'll externally rotate the arms. So you're firming the arms in. The eye of the elbow, and I'll call this the eye of the elbow, will be reaching up towards the ceiling. So you'll inhale, lift your arms up, keep pulling the thumbs apart. So that will help you externally rotate the arms out. Keep lifting and reaching through your fingertips. Keep pulling the thumbs apart, and you should feel this in your arms. And as you breathe, soften the lower ribs in. One more breath here. And then exhale, release. And we'll cross the other thumb on top. Take your arms out in front of you. Externally rotate the arms as you soften the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale your arms up to the sky. Keep pulling the thumbs apart. Soften the nape of the neck and draw the lower ribs in. Keep pulling your hands apart. And then lower your hands down. So grab your strap and we'll do some flossing. So shoulder flossing. So you'll take the strap or the belt or whatever you have, take it out in front of you, palms face down. You'll separate your hands as wide as your shoulder, or even wider if you have tight shoulders. So look at your wrists and make sure that your wrists are not sickling in. You want to keep your wrists nice and firm and straight. We don't need any wrist injuries. So draw the shoulders away from your ears. Breathe here. Then inhale, lift your arms up to the sky and hold here for a moment. Soften the nape of the neck, draw the lower ribs in. Then exhale, release the strap behind you. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower the strap. We'll do a few more rounds here. Inhale your arms up, keep the wrists nice and straight. Exhale, lower down behind you. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. All right, remove the strap off to the side. You may need it because we are going into Gomukhasana. So take your arms out in front of you. Place them gently on the knees. So take your left arm up to the ceiling and externally rotate the outer arm. So your thumb is facing behind you. Then bend the elbow, walk your hand down your back. Make sure that the left elbow is pointing up to the ceiling. Take your right arm out, thumb face down, and then bend the elbow and walk your hands to meet. So you can clasp your hands, You can clasp your t-shirt or grab your t-shirt or use a strap. So you're rolling that right shoulder back and drawing the left shoulder down and away from your ear. Soften the ribs in, and you can lean your head back but yet tuck your chin in so you can lengthen the back of your neck. Take a couple breaths here in your Gomukhasana arms. Keep rooting through your sit bones and rebounding through the crown of your head. And put a small, gentle smile to your lips. Then unclasp the hands. Take your arms out to the side like a T, palms face out. So you're flexing the palms and reach your arms vigorously away from each other. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Keep reaching through the palms, and you should be able to feel this in your triceps and biceps. One more breath, and then release. Just do a few shoulder rolls, neck rolls. And we'll do the other side here. So take your right arm up to the sky, spin your thumb back, and then bend the elbow, point the right elbow up towards the ceiling, walk your hands down your back. Take your left arm out, thumb face down, and then you're gonna bend the elbow and walk the hand up. And take a moment here as you roll the right shoulder back, draw the left shoulder back, and draw the right shoulder away from your ear. And take a breath here as you soften the ribs in. Lean your head back, tuck your chin in just a little bit so you can lengthen the back of your neck. One more breath here. And then release the clasp or your shirt. Take your arms like a T, palms face out. Flex through the palms, reach your arms vigorously away from each other. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Keep reaching, 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 and then release. Do some short circles with your shoulders and go the other direction. All right, so uncross the legs and we'll go into downward facing dog. So come onto tabletop position, then walk your fingertips forward about a couple inches forward. Make sure the index finger is facing the front of the room as you root through your hands, tuck the toes, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And have your feet hips distance apart, gaze between the feet to lengthen the back of your neck. Press both thigh bones back as you release the heels down towards the mat. Lengthen through all four corners of your torso. And lift the right leg up for three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, shift forward and step your right foot by your right thumb. High lunge. Check to see that the right knee is tracking in line with the right ankle. Then place the back leg down on the mat or on the blanket. Inhale, rise up for Anjaneyasana as you reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. You're rolling that right hip back, left hip forward, and lifting the frontal hip bones up to release the tailbone down. Then you can bend a little bit deeper as you stack the torso over the hips. Soften the lower ribs in. And we'll do a few back strokes here. So inhale, reach your fingertips up to the sky. Exhale, circle your hands back. Then inhale your arms forward and up. We'll do it two more times. Exhale, back stroke. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back stroke. Inhale, forward and up. And then we'll cactus our arms. So inhale here. Exhale, cactus your arms, lift the chest. And you can look up towards the ceiling or gaze forward. Inhale your arms up to the sky. Exhale, lower your hands down. Frame the front foot, charge the back leg, step back into plank pose. We'll lower down our knees towards the mat for modified plank. Hug the belly in and release the tailbone down towards the knees. Shoulders in line with the wrists And exhale, lower down halfway for modified chaturanga, hugging the outer arms in. Then exhale, release down towards the mat. Place your hands by your lower ribs. Press the tops of the feet down into the mat. Lift your kneecaps up. And inhale, coil your chest off the mat for low cobra. Hold low cobra. You're drawing the shoulders away from the ears, pointing your elbows back. Hug the outer arms into the midline and gaze down to lengthen the back of the neck. Exhale, release down. Tuck the toes. Inhale here. Then exhale, hug the lower ribs in and come into tabletop position. Then lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. We'll do the other side. So lift the left leg up, hip height, square the hips, point the left toes down for three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, round your upper back. Step your left foot by your left thumb, high lunge. Check to see that your left knee is tracking in line with your left ankle. Then place the back knee down on the mat or on a blanket. Inhale, rise up for Anjaneyasana, reaching the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Now from here, take a few breaths here in Anjaneyasana. Pull that left hip back, right hip forward. Lift the frontal hip bones up and release the tailbone down. Reach through the back, press the back ribs into the chest and reach through your fingertips. Now inhale here. Exhale, backstroke. Inhale, up and forward and up. Exhale, backstroke. Inhale, forward and up. One more time. Exhale, backstroke. Inhale, forward and up. Now we'll go into cactus arms. So cactus your arms, taking your elbows out to the side. Lift the chest and look up. Inhale, reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling, back to Anjaneyasana. Exhale, place the hands down. Framing the front foot. Tuck the back toes, charge the back leg, step back into plank pose. Lower both knees on the mat. We'll come into modified plank, shoulders in line with the wrists. Gaze forward as you broaden through the collarbones. Then exhale, lower down for chaturanga, hugging the outer arms into the midline, and then lower down onto your belly. Place your hands by your lower ribs, press the tops of the feet down into the mat, lift your kneecaps up. Inhale, coil your chest off the mat for low cobra. Reach the crown of the head towards the front of the room. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale here. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift up to tabletop, and come into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. As you root through the hands, firm the outer arms in. Ears align with the upper arms. As you reach the crown of the head away from the tailbone. Now if you see your heels, hide them behind your ankles. One more breath here. And then exhale, place both knees on the mat and grab your two blocks. So place your blocks shoulder distance apart. And I want you to place your blocks at the front of the mat and walk your knees back. Bring your big toes together, knees as wide as your torso, and then send your hips towards your heels for child's pose. Now we're just elevating the hands on the blocks. And then I want you to firm the outer arms in and keep pressing into the block. If your head touches the ground or the mat, that's great. And if it doesn't, keep your head nice and lifted so the ears are in line with the upper arms. And keep pressing into the block. As you breathe here, lengthen the spine. And then look between your hands. Come up to tabletop position. Remove the blocks to the side. And we'll come into dolphin pose. So what you're going to do in dolphin pose is you're going to come down onto your forearms. Clasp your hands like this. Then tuck your pinky underneath. And make sure that your elbows are shoulder distance apart. You're going to tuck your toes, root through the elbows root through the side or the side edge of your forearms and hands and wrists, and then rebound through up through the arms, so you don't have any lazy shoulders here. So I want you to find that energy up through the shoulders and draw the shoulders away from your ears. So you're going to tuck the toes and then lift your hips up and back into dolphin. Now in dolphin pose, if you're rounding in your upper back, then bend your knees and press both shoulder blades into your chest. Broaden through the collarbones. You can gaze between your feet or gaze at your mat. And then lift the shoulders. Find that length through the spine. And if you'd like, you can work on pressing both thigh bones back to release the heels down. You can walk your toes towards your elbows if that's in your practice, or you can keep a nice slight bend in the knees. Then exhale, release down onto your knees. We'll come into child's pose, so bring your big toes together, knees as wide as your torso. Then sweep your arms by your side, palms face up. So your hands are by your hips. Your palms are facing up. As you drape over your thighs, you relax the shoulder blades, relax the neck. And we'll do it one more time. So gently sweep the arms forward and then find your way back into tabletop position. We'll do the other side. So you're going to clap, we'll do it one more time, and we'll clasp the hands. You're going to root through the outer edge of your forearm and wrist. Find the energy that draws up through the shoulders. Tuck the toes and lift your hips up and back into dolphin pose. Now again, you can have that slight bend in the knees as you press the shoulder blades into the chest, lifting the tailbone away from the crown of the head. You can gaze at the mat or in between your toes, wherever you're at in your practice. And then release down. We'll go into child's pose one more time. Big toes together, knees as wide as your torso. Sweep your hands by your hips, palms face up. One more breath here. Then sweep your hands forward. We're coming to downward facing dog. So make sure your hands are shoulder distance apart. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back. We'll do one vinyasa here. So shift into plank pose, shoulders in line with the wrists, balls of the feet right underneath the heels, and use your core. Broaden through the collarbones. And again, you can modify your vinyasas, or you can inhale here, exhale, bend your elbows and shift forward so that the elbows are in line with the wrists as you lower down halfway. Then inhale, flip the toes, straighten the elbows. Thighs and hips should be off the mat unless you're modifying. Drawing the shoulders away from the ears, puff your chest. Exhale, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths here as we're near the end of our class. Then come onto your hands and knees. And then swing your legs forward to the front of the mat. Find your way onto your back and bring your feet flat on the mat with your knees bent. Your feet are hip distance apart, and walk your feet so that your heels are right by your sit bones. Place your hands by your side and we'll go into bridge pose. So press into your heels, inhale, lift your hips off the mat. You can stay here with your hands down by your side, or you can roll onto the top of your shoulders and clasp your hands behind your back. Take a few breaths here in bridge pose as you lift your hips a little higher chest towards your chin. And you're still rolling the inner thighs down so that your knees don't splay out. And then if you had your hands clasped, unclasp your hands and roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. We'll do it one more time. So press into your heels. Inhale, lift your hips up. Clasp your hands and roll on the top of your shoulders. As you press into the heels, you're rolling the inner thighs down. One more breath here. And then release down, unclasp the hands. Take your feet as wide as your mat. And then take your knees and drop them to the right. So you're in a little bit of a twist here, almost like windshield wipers, but not. And then you can stay here in your twist, or you can take your right heel and lift it and place it on the left knee. And if this doesn't feel good on your left knee, then please do not do this. But this just gives a little bit more of a deeper twist and a deeper opening here on your left hip. One more breath here. And then release the right heel off the left knee. And then bring your knees back towards the ceiling. And then take your knees towards the left. If you did on the other side, take your left heel and place it on the right knee. Take a few breaths here. To release the right hip away from the right shoulder. Come back to center. Bring both knees in towards the chest for Apanasana. Rock side to side, massaging the lower back. We'll find our way into Happy Baby, grabbing the outside edges of the feet, knees wider than the torso. Pull down onto your feet as you release the sacrum down towards the mat. So your lower back is lowering down. Press both shoulder blades in the back of the head down into the mat. Now, if this is too deep of a hip opener, you can always grab the backs of your knees. One more breath here. And then bring both knees into your chest. Curl up into a tight, tiny ball. Use all your muscles in your body as you lift the shoulder blades off the mat and curl the tailbone up. Hug yourself. And then exhale, release into your Shavasana. Bringing your legs as wide as your hips or even wider. Let your feet flop off to the side. Bring your arms at a 40-degree angle or even wider. Palms face up to receive. Snuggle your shoulder blades down your back to lift the chest. And release any pranayama breathing. And come to regular breathing. Relax the muscles in between your eyebrows. Relax your lips. Relax your jaw. Melt into the earth beneath you. Relax the muscles around your eyelids. Feel the breath as you inhale. Feel the warm air as you exhale. For your Shavasana. All right, everyone. So that was it. That was my little mini sequence to reducing stress. Please take a few minutes out of your day to take care of you. If you like my video, please click the like button below. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, please subscribe, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye, everyone. Namaste.